Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends. Get your gaming goodness every Saturday. This time, I'm hoping this will go up. It's pretty much set up for recording it, which will still be Saturday. If not, every very early Sunday for this particular episode, however it works out. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan. It's been a hell of a week.
It's been a hell of a week. Also joining us, Cherie Henriques.
Hello. Yeah, it feels like this week was like weeks ago. That's how long a week it's been.
This is how I feel currently, because I slept for like 12 hours last night. This Cherie already basically knows this. I slept for a very long time, and I felt like I slept for years. But also I feel like the last pretty much, I'd say 8, maybe 9 days has felt like an entire month.
Yeah.
Like there was those couple days leading up to E3 where EA Play and all this sort of stuff started happening and whatever. From that moment on, through that period, so 8, 9 days or whatever, I do feel like it's been a month. And it hasn't. But I was like finishing up my last shift at work this week, and I'm like, it's August. It's still June. That's how much I feel is going on. So yeah, this week is our E3 Mega Show episode. We'll be talking about our thoughts on E3 overall, ranking the conferences, and then giving you our top 5 things from E3, of course. If you want to, and I'll plug this again a bit later, of course, if you want to hear our more grandeur thoughts on particular games or things that were shown during the major conferences, we have, and I presume you should have seen, come on now, we have posted bonus episodes of Arcade Couch throughout the week. They're also on youtube.com/Explosion Network or explosionnetwork.com, of course, where we break down, me and Ash, and then for 2 of them, me, Ash, and Kieran, break down the conferences post after airing them. And you can watch them if that's something you would like to do. They're on youtube.com/Explosion Network as well. So if we miss something, which we will, maybe go check those out if you haven't, and we'll talk about them there. But firstly, we're going to go over the E3 predictions and Demon Winner. Now, we're going to assign Cherie Kieran's spot. And by that I mean, because RIP Jaden for a start, you know, a dear member of the Explosion Network family, usually handles our prediction stuff. This year he's too busy being a policeman to help us.
Being a useful member of society. What's up with that?
What a guy. So shout out to Jaden, of course, for the past years, and we understand not have time to deal with our bullshit this year. But so because of that, I was like, well, we'll just get on here and we'll go through predictions, and if anyone wants to argue their case as to why they should get like a half point or something, we'll just do it on the fly, and you could stand up for yourself. Kieran's not here to stand up for himself, so Cherie, his proxy. If you ever feel like me and Ash are like not trying to give Kieran a point, and you feel like he should actually have like a half point or something, whatever, it's your official job to be his.
You're trying to boost Kieran's numbers, which are very low.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if I decide that Kieran has no points?
Well, that's most likely what's going to happen, but I'm just saying
that'll happen anyway.
This is what's going to happen. So we'll go through the predictions in the order that we did them from the prediction episode. Luckily, Ash went over and posted up all these articles on explosionnetwork.com, which have now become really handy because or else I would have had to gone back and re-listen to them. Foresight. So that's great. Foresight, yeah, 100%. So I posted up all these articles breaking down all of our predictions and posting up little quotes from all of them, which I will go ahead and read as we do this because they'll also make it a lot more fun. I was going to, just to save in case we mess up on the fly, I was going to go through these ahead of the episode and write down who the winner was so I could kind of know ahead of time and we weren't having to add up points and these sorts of things. But now I decided not to. So I haven't read back through any of our predictions. Now, of course, I remember some particular ridiculous ones that Kieran said, and I remember some particularly good ones that I have got correct. But other than I don't remember everything, so I'm hoping for some
surprises,
funny tidbits from all of this. Yeah. All right, so general predictions is what we're going through first. This is basically where we chuck down a bunch of stuff where we're like, oh, it could happen at any conference. It could happen during the show. It could happen during EA Play. It could happen, whatever. It wasn't tied down to a conference. And firstly, we're going to go through Kieran's predictions. His first one was. Hold on. Also, I should really get out a pen and paper here.
I'll keep track.
You got it? You got it? Okay, you got it. Ash has got this. So Kieran's predictions. First one. Sony is completely silent during E3 week. He said Sony won't be making any announcements. They won't have a state of play. They're just going to shut the F up the entire week. And then I said Sony will not have a state of play or reveal anything. Okay, interesting. I think that's a point.
Yeah, well, I guess technically they had stuff on their YouTube, like website trailers for different things, and they had stuff going on with PS Plug.
It was still something.
I'm trying to be fair here. Come on.
Yeah,
I think he gets a point.
I was surprised that there was absolutely nothing.
I was too, but
it's going to make Platinum Explosion this week very difficult.
Yes, it will. Well, yeah, it'll be an interesting show. We haven't recorded it yet. It'll be an interesting show. Yeah, I think he gets a point for that one because, of course, they're always talking about stuff on the PS blog on a weekly basis, whatever. None of that stuff counts. That's just the regular, usual shenanigans.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2, TH Nordic is going to reveal at least 15 announced games at E3. Ashley said, Jesus, that's crazy talk, to which I said, that's crazy talk, but also I'm like, yeah. And then Ash said, they brought enough IPs for that to be a possibility. I don't think they're going to show them all this year. So you're 100% right. They announced 3 games in the days leading up to E3, which were Destroy All Humans remake. Remake of the first Destroy All Humans game, which is pretty cool because me and my brother played both of those quite a lot.
Is it a remake or remaster? What does it matter?
It's a remake. It's a full-on remake. Yeah. It looks really, really good, actually. And the second thing they announced was quite odd, left field, which was the SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is a remake or remaster. I'm not 100% sure on that one because we don't actually have as much.
It's rehydrated.
Okay. Rehydrated, yeah. It's the full title. And that was another game. And then the third game they announced is Darksiders Genesis?
That sounds right.
Something like that. I think
it's like a top-down.
It's basically, it's a top-down, like co-op, it seems, twin-stick shooter type Diablo hacking thing where it introduces the 4th Horseman of the Apocalypse, which is Trife, I think is the name of the person's character. And that looks pretty cool as well. So, but overall, it was only 3 games announced. So
yeah,
that is no point for Kieran on that one.
I did see that THQ Nordic had a big booth on the show floor, or at least I saw a big sign, but obviously they didn't show much.
They got a lot of games.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of games for the last couple of years. Like remember even at E3 last year where I was if we was doing the top 5 games from E3 last year, one of mine would have been Mutant Biohazard, right? You know, make your cool little cat little whatever character, Biomutant thing and run around. And they've had that for years. They've had other games for years. They're just not really releasing much. They just keep making games. Kieran's third ridiculous prediction, and the one that will forever be burned in my memory, was Rockstar will appear, which is enough of a ridiculous prediction. But then he followed it up with Grand Theft Auto 4 Remaster. And then to which I said, where's your real prediction? That's the funniest thing I've heard all day. Kieran then said, I'm sticking with it. GTA 4 getting the remaster. Let's go, boys. And then I assume in an accent said, come on, Nico, we're getting a remaster. Unsurprisingly, no point for that one. Shocked. Okay, my predictions. I should double check this one, actually. I completely forgot to ahead of time. My first prediction was that AMD will announce that their upcoming Navi GPUs are going to have ray tracing tech inside them. Did I? I completely forgot to double check what the hell they even announced during there. They did a live stream, like an event, a show type thing. I can't remember. Hold on. Let me just check. I found out. I think okay. I don't get a point. Digital trends. In a press event leading up to AMD's E3 live stream, the company clarified that it was not yet ready to move forward with hardware accelerated ray tracing in its new graphics cards. It did, however, announce had some new tricks in the world of upscaling. Blah 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 blah. So I guess I don't get a point.
Yeah.
Why they would fuck me on this is beyond me. You know what I'm saying? Why they would fuck me is beyond me.
Your rationale was all good. Forget that. But yeah.
A very boring prediction. Very boring because I thought it was easy. Next one I thought was also going to be a shoo-in, but never mind. I said the Harry Potter game is revealed. Where Kieran asked the MMO, I said no, the RPG one that got leaked. We still have seen nothing from that game since it's leaked, and we sure didn't see anything at E3. No point for me.
No.
My third prediction was Resident Evil 8 is revealed. I said it could be called something else because Resident Evil 7 was Biohazard. They could call this one Resident Evil something with a subtitle. This is the sequel to the latest chronological Resident Evil game. The only Resident Evil stuff that was announced during E3 was 2 shitty ports for the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
No point for me.
No points.
So that's great. We're off to a rick-rolling start here. Ashley's predictions. Rocksteady's game will be revealed.
Hopes dashed before
we don't,
E3
we don't need to read anymore. Exactly. Google Stadia will be shown in some way at E3. You said Google Stadia will be showcased in some way either behind the scenes or behind closed doors, or will show off some of the smaller projects they're working on. Kieran said, is that a showcase if it's behind closed doors, if we don't know what's happening? And then Ash said, they will show it to people. They indeed had Google Stadia on the show floor and you could go play it, so...
That's a point.
Yes?
Yes.
That's a point. Yes. Your third prediction was a new Bioshock game is revealed, where Kieran just responded, really? And that's no point. There was no mention of Bioshock anywhere that I could remember hearing or seeing throughout the whole thing. All right, so let's jump into the first actual press conference, which is Ubisoft. Kieran's predictions was no Sam Fisher or Assassin's Creed announcements. I said, to which in response, I said, you'll lose if they announce DLC. Kieran said, I will, but I don't think they'll announce DLC. And then I said, or Sam Fisher is DLC for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, to which I'd like to point out, he wasn't DLC for that, but they did announce a mobile game which does feature
Sam Fisher
as one of the characters in it. So I'm saying no point.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he said no Sam Fisher or Assassin's Creed announcements.
They also announced dates for the Assassin's Creed Orchestra.
That's very true. And he didn't say games. He just said like anything to do with Sam Fisher or Assassin's Creed. So I'm saying no point. No point.
Well, they also announced the story mode thing was out that day. That's an announcement.
Oh, for Assassin. Oh, yeah. Story mode creator for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah. So it got DLC as well. So yeah, no, you're definitely no point. His next prediction was a new Mario plus Rabbids game is announced. No. Disappointingly,
that didn't happen.
Disappointingly, there's no more Mario Rabbids games. And his third one was Far Cry 6 is announced. To which he said, I feel like this is pretty obvious. And I responded, is it though? And the answer is no, because it wasn't announced. So no points for Kieran on that front. My predictions were, my first one was, and we'll have to argue about this one a little bit, I feel, because it's up for debate a little bit, but I think I've got a point. My first prediction was Watch Dogs 3 is announced. And then I've got a whole paragraph here saying it's going to come out, blah, 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 blah. But prediction is Watch Dogs 3 is announced.
No, Watch Dogs 3.
It leaked
There's
before,
no Watch Dogs 3. It's Watch Dogs Legion.
Still no point.
No, that's not how it works. Come on.
Okay.
It leaked ahead. They officially revealed it during the show. So I still think I get a point.
I'll say yes, because in the future, then I can use this as leverage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to be careful if you argue with stuff like this, because then you can potentially screw yourself in the future. Because that's something. Yeah, so you got to be careful. I think I get a point because even though it was leaked ahead of time,
it wasn't a huge leak though.
No, it's basic premise and the name leaked ahead of time, but then they officially revealed and confirmed what was leaked.
Like we knew it was coming anyway, really.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So I think I get a point.
I think that's okay.
My second prediction was where I said to Kieran, I will counter your prediction, Kieran. And I said there will be a Splinter Cell teaser trailer. I do not get a point. There was no Splinter Cell. No. There was Splinter Cell there.
Yes.
There was no Splinter Cell teaser trailer for an actual Splinter Cell game though. I might bring this one back next year though. I think there's things up there. And then my third one was there would be a new Nintendo collaboration that's unveiled between Ubisoft and Nintendo. Surprisingly, nothing. No Mario & Rabbids 2, no Starlink 2, no new crazy thing, nothing. So quite odd. Ash's predictions were Beyond Good and Evil 2 release windows revealed. You got fucked ahead of time on that one because they announced a couple days or so before E3 that they were not going to be showing Beyond Good and Evil 2 at E3 full stop, and they gave a date for when they was going to do their next Switch stream.
What else is new? Yeah.
You said a new Prince of Persia game is revealed.
Nope.
I don't think Prince of Persia was thought about during the event of E3.
That's not true. It was in the Ubisoft Plus show reel thing. So it was there. There was just no new game.
Okay.
They thought about it, and then they thought
it was thought about.
I like how you remember that because you would have seen that and be like, "That's my prediction." It was there for a split second.
So close.
Your third prediction was Just Dance VR is revealed.
Nope.
By the way, so I found out the other day that this exists, I think, already, and we just didn't know.
What? There is a Just Dance VR?
I believe. I don't think it's on PSVR. I think it's on like other
on
things.
Oculus or whatever.
Yeah.
Or on mobiles. I don't know how that would work.
Like everything but PSVR,
of course.
Is where I saw it. So, so yeah, no point for that one. So
yeah,
that's
well,
if
it's a part of Just Dance 2020,
it's not.
It's not. Okay.
It's like separate thing. I think.
Oh well,
I'll have to double check later.
It's not a thing, actually.
Bethesda's predictions. Kira's predictions from Bethesda were: a Starfield trailer closes Bethesda's conference. If only anything that exciting had it happened during Bethesda's conference.
Oh man!
If only. I find it here so funny because the quote here says, I said, I'm pretty sure last year when they announced this, along with Elder Scrolls thing, you were like, you're not going to see this for years. And I said that, and Kieran was very angry. And I still think it's so funny he thought that was actually going to happen. The next thing he announced, he predicted was a new Dishonored game will be announced.
Nope.
Which is quite funny because we did not get a new Dishonored game announced, but we did get a new game announced from the Dishonored developers. So, but that's no points, Kieran. No points for
Kieran.
No, his third prediction was there will be gameplay trailer for Wolfenstein Young Blood.
I'm not sure there was a gameplay trailer. It was a story trailer.
It was a story trailer. So this is what I've argued about. We've been arguing about this recently. What I call a gameplay trailer is a trailer that's solely just like it shows
literal
long
gameplay.
Periods of gameplay, you know, like it's about actual gameplay. I don't count trailers that happen to include gameplay
Shots,
in them as gameplay trailers, you know? That's my difference. Because they did show a trailer for Wolfenstein Youngblood. It did have gameplay in it. It is not a gameplay trailer. It was as I just said, it's a story trailer, as far as I'm concerned. So unless anyone wants to argue with me, that's no point for Kieran.
No.
We're
just giving him no points.
My predictions were, well, first one, I was highly annoyed and disappointed. There will be a live music performance for Doom during the conference.
No, couldn't even get that.
I don't know why did the quote here says Kieran said, fuck no. Why did he say this?
Because I think he wanted to predict
just because of maybe, I was like, maybe
or
just based on like
Andrew
last year's weirdo stuff.
His name from last year.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, I think we found out afterwards that I'm mental blank on his name, sorry. The Australian dude who does the music, that he was still working on the music for 2 at the time. That's possibly why the music that was used in the gameplay demo for Doom wasn't particularly
interesting,
enthralling. There was one piece that was new, but in the gameplay music that was playing, the music that was playing in the gameplay sequence was from the first game, to which people were like, that's a bit weird. But I think it's because they haven't finished the music yet. Yeah. My second prediction was Arcane Studios' new game is revealed to be a new IP. To which I said, I don't reckon it's Dishonored 3. I reckon they're going to have a brand new IP instead. That is a hot point for Dylan.
Yep.
They revealed a little game called, was it
Deathloop.
Well, Deathbound.
No, Deathloop.
Yeah, thank you. Loop, thank you. Jesus.
loop of death.
Deathloop. Yeah, Deathloop game had a real grindhouse feel. No gameplay. It was just a very cinematic trailer. I'm 100% presuming it's a next-gen title. But that was revealed. That is a brand new IP. It's from Arcane. Give me a point. Thank you very much. No, my third prediction was Elder Scrolls Legends gets an update announced. Kieran said boring. You said new cards.
Did it get announced?
Amongst that very boring segment where they showed off the trailer and stuff, I think they talked about an updating thing, but I don't believe it was new.
No.
So I think I get 0 points.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it was previously announced. So I think I get 0 points for that one.
These points are like few and far between. I tell you what.
That's usually how it works. That's
on point. We're on track with last year. I'm pretty sure. I think this is actually improvement on last year.
I think I've got more points than I have any year previous. Your predictions were Elder Scrolls 6 title is revealed. That was out there. You do get a point here though. Yeah. You said future plans for Fallout 76 are announced. To which you said, so another few months of content they've got planned out, and that sort of thing will likely, like that Wild Alpaca content drop they did early in the year. And you're right, they revealed a new content drop called something like the Wastelanders Return or whatever. Yeah,
they've got human characters, nuclear Fallout. No, nuclear winter.
Yeah, NPCs are returning. Where have the NPCs been? Often Watch Dogs universe. I don't know. But anyway, that's a point for you. And then your third prediction was a new mobile game is announced, a Fallout card game.
I feel like I get half a point. There was a new mobile game.
What did you say here?
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
It says, I say a new mobile game, Fallout 77 Shelter. You said, I think it would be cool if it was a Fallout card game. Fallout not Shelter. Okay. I'll give you half a point.
Yeah.
Because they did announce, Bethesda announced a card game, a mobile game.
Yeah.
Well, 2 mobile games, didn't they? Jeez, I can't even remember at this stage. They announced the fucking whatever, the terrible thing they spent too long on about. It wasn't a Fallout game. So, Commander Keen, thank you very much. Yeah, have a half point, I reckon.
Yep.
I'd chuck half point on that one. Square Enix predictions. Kieran's predictions were Doctor Doom is teased at the end of the Avengers trailer.
Nope.
I don't think the Avengers trailer teased anything other than disappointment throughout the entire run. Look at Ash's
mixed messaging. That's what it revealed.
Certainly no Doctor Doom, although it did seem like it was doomed. Kingdom Hearts 3 is revealed for the Switch, to which I said, you're a madman, but okay.
Well, you accept these like out there predictions knowing that there's no points awarded and you win. That's how it works. See, I didn't give any predictions because I wasn't available for the episode, and I'll win because I just can't go wrong.
No, that's not how it works. You give out their predictions because we're doing a podcast, and if you don't do some level of out there predictions,
it's
I think
pretty
boring. Boring.
Guess what? So, there's going to be Xbox One on the stage of the Microsoft conference.
Yeah. So yeah, you try and like mix them. So next year it'll be like they announced something for they announced the name of Project Scarlet. Derp. You know, like, and then you say, and Halo is getting a Battle Royale. I don't know, like something a bit more out there to counter it. So Kingdom Hearts Switch not revealed. He then said, I forgot he even said this until I just read it. Final Fantasy VII Remake will tease Crisis Core as part of the game. To which I said, so the game's storyline is going to be evolved. And Kieran said, yes, it's going to be evolved in Final Fantasy VII Remake. In case you don't know, Crisis Core is a PSP game. So what Kieran was saying was they were going to put the entirety of a PSP game inside of the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
And
I've seen people mention Crisis Core this week. Like, obviously, you guys have said it. I've just noticed, been listening out for it a bit more. But yeah, they didn't tease it at all. They didn't tease it
in the game. Because Crisis Core is a prequel to...
I'm assuming that wouldn't 7. Fit in till way after where we think the game's going to finish.
Well, no, this is what I was trying to say when we were talking about it without spoiling it, is that there's a thing that happens in 7 that's revealed eventually. And when that thing's revealed, what happens in the prequel game makes sense. But if you had the prequel game intertwined with 7, it doesn't work because it's going to give away.
But the thing
twist.
That happens that sets up this prequel game won't happen in the current.
I don't think it even happens in this game.
Yeah, it'll be in a future game. So what could potentially be is the next game finishes at that point that thing happens, and then the game after that is Crisis Core. Is what Kieran
People
wanted.
Would be mad.
But no.
People would be mad. But yeah, no point. My predictions were Final Fantasy Remake Episode 1 release window given. We got better.
We got the entire game, apparently.
Yeah.
So
we got a release date. Yeah, I'm definitely saying it's a half point, surely. Because we didn't get a release window. We got an official actual
Well, I guess
date.
that's a very small window.
When it's coming out. So
I mean,
it's a very small window.
Man, I would give you a point.
Would you? Okay. Give me a point then.
He's not going to fight that.
Because, yeah. I honestly didn't think we'd get a release date. I was quite surprised. I'm still scared, but there you go.
Yeah.
And then my next prediction was Final Fantasy 16 will be revealed.
Nope.
I like how the first thing it just says that Ash said, "Whoa." They did not reveal Final Fantasy 16 at all. I think they were just obviously focusing on the 7 remake while they could, which I kind of expected, but at the same time, when I was predicting this, I was thinking they could just do that like one last thing and then they teased 16 and which would have worked because obviously next gen's coming out next year, so they could have been teasing it for next gen, but didn't happen.
No.
Number 3, my prediction was People Can Fly's new game is revealed. Let me read what I said. People Can Fly, formerly known as Epic Games Poland, have been working on a Square Enix game for 3 to 4 years at this point. We don't know what it is, but I think it's been long enough for them, and it's time to reveal it and see what the hell is going on. They've previously worked on Bulletstorm and one of the Gears of War games. And guess what? After everyone argued with me on Twitter, goddamn Paul James, and whoever else.
I mean, they're apparently a big studio, so they're also working on that other thing you said. So
they are, yeah. They're working on the one that was revealed at or not this particular team, I don't think, but a different team. And the people that worked on the vanishing of Ethan Carter for whatever reason. They revealed it at the Game Awards last year. It like came up. It was like walking down this real beautiful environment. I can't remember the name of the game. They're walking down this real beautiful environment and stuff. And you're like, it comes up from the people that brought you the vanishing of Ethan Carter. And we're like, oh, cool. It's a really stunning, beautiful looking walking simulator. And then all of a sudden the character pulls out a big gun and it comes up, and also the people that brought you Bulletstorm and bullets things. Yeah. And it's like some game where you're like first person shooter where you're shooting monsters and it looked really pretty and stuff. I'm assuming it's the next gen style because it looked way too good even when we saw it at the Game Awards last year. So that's a point for me. Ashley's predictions for it was Kingdom Hearts 3 story DLC trailer revealed. I give you a point. They, although to clarify, they revealed the DLC trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3's its first upcoming DLC was revealed during the Kingdom Hearts concert, which was before E3. They then showed the exact same trailer with no more extra information during Square Enix's press conference thing. But either way, I'm going to say you get a point. It's fine. It's in the E3, whatever, whatever. I say you get a point. Octopath Traveler is announced for Xbox One and PS4, to which I said, you're a madman. You're both madmen. They did not announce Octopath Traveler is coming to Xbox One or PS4. They simply plugged that it had just come out the week on Steam this current week. And then your last prediction was trailer for new Deck 9 game is revealed, which I think we all would have liked. Obviously, the people that worked on Life is Strange Before the Storm, there was no Deck 9. There was nothing to be seen or heard from them at this particular time, somewhat disappointingly. They did show a trailer for Life is Strange Season 2, though.
They did.
Doesn't help you, though.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so on to Nintendo's predictions. Kira's predictions were, his very easy point, Animal Crossing for Switch trailer is shown. To which I said, technically it's already been announced, but it hasn't had a proper reveal. And then Kieran says, okay, well, there will be a proper reveal trailer for Animal Crossing for Switch. It will be one of the big moments of the Nintendo Direct. So, yeah, he gets a point.
Yeah, he gets a point.
He gets a point.
Good on you,
I think you're on the table, Kieran. Is this his first point? Was he?
No, that's his second point.
Oh, second point, okay. You officially got 2 spoons on the plate. You got
crazy.
2 spoons on the plate. He is crazy. That's the thing. His second prediction was Metroid Prime 4 trailer is revealed. Metroid Prime 4, or Metroid in general, was nowhere to be seen during the Nintendo Direct. Unsurprisingly, because they recently, of course, just cancelled what was that game and brought it back to their own little studio over at Nintendo. Then his third prediction was Nintendo announces a new Mario Kart.
Yep, that didn't happen either.
No Mario Kart there. Because they know. Nintendo knows. They see Crash Team Racing over here. Nah, they ain't touching that shit. My predictions were, my first one was just my hopes and dreams crushed. Bayonetta 3 release window revealed. Highly disappointing to Dylan's heart was there was absolutely no Bayonetta to be seen during the entire conference. Although now I'm going to get my hopes up every single Nintendo Direct from now until the end of the year. Yeah, that I'm going to see some more.
I'm guessing not till after Astral Chain comes out.
Astral Chain comes out in a couple months, though. So hopefully after that we get it. Just give me a look at my sweet, sweet witch lady, please. Number 2, I said Metro Prime Trilogy announced for the Switch. No,
Nope.
that did not happen. That was highly disappointing as well. I thought that was kind of a shoo-in somewhat, honestly.
I figured, yeah.
I thought that was just, I thought that would make heaps of sense.
A nice stopgap.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And even before they changed who was developing the Prime 4 thing.
Yeah.
Like, they could have been developing this ahead of time while that other studio, I can't even remember the name of them, was working on that game as well. But, none of which. And my third prediction, completely negative on all accounts for Nintendo over here. Nintendo announces new Nintendo Switch hardware. I said Nintendo Switch Pro is announced. They
that
did
was
not announce it.
disappointing.
I like that I was correct and said it's not an E3 thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I say Nintendo Switch Pro is announced. Ash says, I don't know if it's an E3 thing. And then Ash said the Pro is not the one thing they're going for. Is it the cheap one? I think he meant they might announce the cheap one here, but not the Pro that we've heard rumors of. Nothing though. Nothing happened to us. It was quite sad. I was trying to look for a half a point here and be like, well, my prediction was new hardware is announced. And I was trying to think, did they announce any new hardware? No. Ash's predictions were new Super Smash Bros. DLC characters revealed from a non-Nintendo game.
Yep.
Clap, Ash. Good.
Do I get 2 points because 2?
No, you cannot. No, that's not how it works. You can't double predictions. But you 100% do get a point though because they revealed the hero. Which, by the way, since we haven't talked about it since we did our Nintendo post-show thing, where we was quite confused about how the Dragon Quest character works in Smash. It's one character where you can basically change the skin.
Yeah, it's like Echo Fighters or whatever.
Yeah. Well, no, because Echo Fighters like tag team type thing. It's one character where you just change the skin.
Echo Fighters are the same thing, but they're like different skins. Like there's the 2 Castlevania guys, but it's only the main one is a proper skin.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was quite. I don't know. Maybe it's. I thought it was a little bit different because like it's a change of skin, but
it's
also
like
they have slight different.
Ken and Ryu.
Yeah,
Ryu's an Echo Fighter of Ken.
That does make sense. Yeah. So it's 3 characters, 1 though. So
4.
3 Dragon characters, and then also, obviously the big one. Well, hold on. Let me pause because I saw someone on Twitter the other day where the trailer numbers between the Dragon Quest character reveal in Japan is like huge numbers in Japan. And then the second reveal, which is obviously Banjo-Kazooie, which made the Western audiences go absolutely apeshit for. In the Western audiences, like America and so on, the trailer views for that are huge and the Dragon Quest numbers are lower. But in Japan, they're complete opposites, which just backs up everything
we said.
Like when they're spending ages during the Nintendo Direct or Square Enix Direct conference thing, and they're talking about Dragon Quest builders forever. It's like, who cares about this game? It's like,
Japan.
I could tell you who cares about this game.
The people who need this trailer
Japan.
Translated.
Japan fucking cares about these games. Your second prediction was Pikmin 4 trailer revealed.
Nope.
Disappointingly, no Pikmin was shown. And then your third prediction was Nintendo shows a Persona 5 Scramble gameplay trailer. They did not show anything about Persona 5
on the Switch
at all.
Yeah. On
the floor or on the Switch.
No.
At all.
Very upsetting.
Persona got an announcement during E3.
Yep, there was Persona the Royale trailer, and I think they did a stream as well. Apparently, Persona 5 is in the Catherine full body DLC.
Yep, Catherine DLC.
But
none of that related.
But yeah, none of that is coming to the Switch.
Yeah. So
sorry.
Sorry, Persona people. On to the last conference, Microsoft. So Kieran's predictions were Cyberpunk 2077 will get a release date within 7. What a weird prediction! I completely forgot he said this. Cyberpunk 2077 will get a release date within 7 days of October 25th, 2019. And then Ash goes, geez, I said, what's your maps on this? And Kieran said, I've just gone for it. I've just gone October. We need a big October release. Normally it happens the last week of October, and Cyber Week is coming. I know it's coming out. I believe it's CG Projekt Red. Let's fucking go. So Cyberpunk got a release date. I'm thinking maybe a half point.
I think half a point because he's so far behind.
I think he gets half a point because his prediction is Cyberpunk will get a release date within 7 days. I say half point.
Half a point.
Yeah, give him a big old 0.5.
Give him half a point because he doesn't really have that many points, so he probably just needs all the help he can get, really.
Yeah, that's fine. You're doing real good sticking up for him as he's showing this episode so far.
Yep, that's my job done. Bye.
His second prediction was the Microsoft conference will open with Borderlands 3 trailer. The Microsoft conference did not open with the Borderlands 3 trailer. There was a Borderlands 3 trailer in the Microsoft conference, but I don't think that's even worth a half point because that's not what the prediction is about at all.
Disappointing because what we pitched would have been pretty great.
What did you pitch? Let me see here. Is this the Randy Pitchford thing?
Yeah.
I said Randy Pitchford, I forgot, I don't even know what I say anymore. Randy Pitchford walks on stage, kicks a cat, fucking throws a magic card at someone. Hey, Microsoft! Everyone boos him. And then Ash said, everyone boos, and he says, why you guys would fuck me on this is beyond me. Thanks a lot. And then I said, and then it turns out it's not actually Randy Pitchford, it's just a hologram. And we cut to Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay. Got him.
And then Keanu Reeves comes out after. Oh, amazing.
We basically called it. Third prediction from Kieran was the Outer Worlds gameplay demo is shown. They showed a trailer for the Outer Worlds, the first thing or second thing or something like that during Xbox's conference. But it was not. It was a trailer. It was a trailer. It was a trailer. It wasn't a gameplay demo. My predictions were the next Xbox is officially revealed. To which Kieran said, no way, no fucking way. And then Ash said, how much of a reveal that there is an Xbox whatever. And I said, they talk about it, they talk specs. And then Ash said, in the same way they talked about the Scorpio. And I can just kind of stop there because if you go look at the Scorpio reveal video, it is pretty much the same video they played when they revealed the Scorpio. Pretty much the same thing. I think I get a point.
Yeah, you said talk specs. They did technically talk specs.
They talk specs. They officially revealed it. They gave a
They read out the PlayStation 5 reveal specs.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. They revealed the exact same specs that PlayStation had already revealed, but they revealed them for their own console. They gave a holiday 2020 release date. They officially, although PlayStation kind of kicked open the next-gen gate with their specs, Xbox kind of kicked it down a little bit more by giving it's officially holiday next year is next-gen time. We didn't have that prior to the Xbox conference, you know. They didn't say anything exciting when it came to specs because we heard it all from PlayStation. But when it came to release date type stuff, we now know when next gen is. So I say I get a point. Number 2, this one is confusing and I still think I get a point. But Ninja Theory revealed their next game. So to which Kieran said, that's good. I completely forgot about Ninja Theory. I had completely spaced that they were an Xbox studio. So the funny thing with this is they have, right? I think I get a point because they did reveal their next game. The next game is a multiplayer, I can't remember the name of it.
Bleeding Edge.
Whatever it is. Sorry?
Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge. That's it. So it's like a class-based or hero-based,
it's a hero-based
melee
game.
Combat thing. Yeah, it's like Overwatch but melee only, I guess. But 4v4.
Hero team-based melee thing.
It's a thing.
Melee? I don't know.
So they did reveal it. It is their next game. So I get a point. But the funny thing is that
it got leaked.
It was in work. It was in works before Hellblade, apparently.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. And you can tell.
That's it. Yeah, and I think you can definitely
just the
tell.
art
Because it's like they put out they put out Hellblade. They put out this very heavily story-based game with a very dramatic and serious story. And then that's kind of what everyone knows them for at the moment when they think about that studio. And then the next thing they announce after Microsoft purchases them is a hero-based melee combat thing. Either way, it's their next game, so give me a point. My third one, disappointingly, was not a point. I said Nintendo appear at the Microsoft conference. So, no.
That's not a thing.
Not a thing that happened. Next year, for sure. Ash's predictions were Gears of Ash's predictions. You know the thing where you start reading something and your brain can read ahead of like as you're saying it, even though I'm speaking out loud. That's why I keep laughing. Gears of War 5 gameplay demo with release date for Q4 this year. There was no Gears of War 5 gameplay demo. There was barely anything of Gears of War 5 when it came to trailers, apart from Billie Eilish fucking video, if you even want to call that a trailer.
I mean, technically they showed some gameplay of the multiplayer thing.
Not in that, they didn't. It was cinematic trailer. They showed gameplay afterwards on their live stream, but during the conference they showed absolutely nothing. It got a release date.
Yeah. Not Q4.
Yeah.
They fucked me by going early. It's Q3.
So I think because although there was a release date given, but you have like I don't think you get a point.
No.
And if you do get a point, it's like 0.25 of a point. But we only do halves.
We only do halves.
We're not going that minute.
No.
We're not going that minuscule because that opens up a completely different can of worms. Battletoads Shadow Drops was your next prediction.
Nope.
This is not a thing. They showed Battletoads there. Battletoads was indeed a game that existed there that people could play during the show and was during the Xbox's conference, but it did not shadow drop. And your third one, it was a new Banjo and Kazooie is announced. Banjo and Kazooie was announced to be coming to Super Smash Bros., but a new Banjo and Kazooie game was indeed not announced. Although I honestly, if this had happened,
I think it would have ruined the surprise of
it would have been all that Microsoft needed to announce to really win people over with their whole conference. Because a lot of people, they didn't have anything big. If they announced a new Banjo and Kazooie game, and then people got really hyped up about that, and then for the next 2 days, people were like, oh, maybe because Microsoft announced it, maybe that confirms it's coming to Smash. Even if people were umming and ahhing about it, the second that the Smash trailer drops, people would have still lost their shit. And it would have been like we were living in the 90s again, with everyone just talking about fucking Banjo and Kazooie all weekend. I mean, weird ass time.
I fully expect them to do a remaster in the next, announce a remaster in the next 12 months.
Wouldn't surprise me now that the whole,
especially because that design of the new Banjo and Kazooie looks great.
Well, yeah, they could use that model.
Yeah,
so it's a 3D model.
And they just asked them to send over that level. That's like one whole section they don't have to do.
Yeah, maybe. And that was it. So, what do you want to, Ash? Do you want to give the dear listeners the final?
Tell us who had no points.
Predictions.
Both Nick and Cherie had 0 points.
Woo!
I definitely beat Nick.
Kieran comes in with 2.5 points.
Hey.
Yep. I had 4.5 points, and Dylan had 4 points until the Microsoft conference results.
Oh.
Where he got another 2 points. So he wins with 6.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's the highest ever.
Boy.
But that might be the most number of predictions we've given. So, yeah.
We're getting good at this. We're getting good at being games media people.
Yeah.
Improving.
6 out of...
Improvement. That's all we ask for.
Quickly, I want to talk about, before we go over ranking the conferences, just get everyone's overall thoughts on E3 this year, because it's wrapped, but we do know that E3 will be back next year. So E3 announced their dates for next year, which will be June 9th to 11th, 2020. But this also came with reports that E3 had upwards of 3,000 less attendees this year than last year, and this was backed up by countless people I've heard on podcasts I've been listening to the last 24 hours, and then also several tweets and stuff I've seen from people saying that the halls were pretty empty and the whole place just felt not dead, but definitely very easily noticeable.
Yep.
A lot emptier than previous years and times. So what do we think about E3? Because honestly, my thing about ranking E3, or just talking about E3, I find weird every year, because it's like, how do you feel about E3? I'm like, I don't really know. I wasn't there. You know, we sit here in front of our computers and we watch the conferences, and we take in the live stream content, and we take in the
commentary,
written work and video work that people people are putting out and all these sorts of things. But when it comes down to it, it's a convention and we're not there. So I find it weird to like, how do you feel about E3? I don't know. I don't know what it felt like to walk around. I don't know what how good it was to be there. I don't really know. So we're in a weird position to be talking about it, I guess. But so that's why I personally like will focus on the conference aspect and like that general stuff about it. But if people are saying it's feeling a lot more empty and so on, and E3 continues, unless they're going to revoke the whole public side of it, which I don't think they will, because they've opened up those floodgates, and that's kind of what the show they want to be doing now. They want to get away from it just being a press event, industry event, I guess. They want to make it a public event. I think they just need to move where it is. They need to move it to a city that's better for holding a big event like that.
Really? LA is not the best place to have this massive event?
No, not from what I read. I was doing some reading today about like what cities are best for it, and apparently although the convention center is like decently sized and these sorts of things, it's not a convention center that's made for these mass public events like this. Like,
I would assume there is some sort of deal behind the scenes that it needs to stay there, or at least for a while. So. Yeah,
maybe
they lock these sort of events in for multi-year deals. So,
and apparently, of course, like you read stuff like it's expensive, so on and so on.
It's in America. It's going to be expensive.
Well, LA is very expensive though,
less expensive places, I suppose, if it's going to be a public event. But when it comes to the conferences, they were as I kind of expected, to be honest, because we knew that next year was next gen time, presumably either at the start of the year or the end of the year. It's definitely not going to start in the middle of the year. So with it being at the end of the year, this E3 feels like a end of generation E3, which is always going to be very quiet. It's not going to be big bangs. It's going to be like, hey, you know those things we've been talking about? Here's some more details on them. We're not really announcing much new because it's the last E3 of this gen, basically. Although next year they'll probably talk about a mix of both, I would presume still. But it's the last like E3 of just focused on one gen, whereas next year will be focused on next gen plus still talking about PS4 and Xbox One and so on and so forth. So to me, the conference is not having these big bangs doesn't say anything about E3 as a show. That's just normal. Yeah. How do you feel, Ash?
About the numbers and the sort of around the show floor, I suspect Sony's absence was a huge factor in that. The number of people who would have flown out just to see Sony's booth or whatever would have been probably the amount of people who went there. As for the conference in the whole, I think it was very even. Nobody really did much to stand out. I think they took the wrong lessons from people bashing Sony's conference from last year. What Sony did so well is they showed 3 very long gameplay demos during their conference. There was barely any of that this year. It was all about quantity of games rather than the quality of games shown. So that was disappointing. I think everybody we were constantly like, oh, I wish we could see more of this, but they were showing it elsewhere. Yeah. Well, some of them were showing it elsewhere. So yeah, it is what it is.
Cherie?
Yeah, I agree that I reckon that Sony would have had an impact on those numbers. I think too, each year as well, there's going to be more and more people that are doing similar to what we do, which is, reacts, streams and things for their own benefit as well as taking in the content. But I think that overall, the E3 this year just wasn't hype. Like it wasn't that hyped. Like
it was if you was watching our stream, because I said it heaps of times. Get hype.
Yeah, like
I don't know how effective that was.
I don't even think it was necessarily. It wasn't coming back to the games necessarily. It was coming back to that we weren't seeing anything. We weren't seeing a lot of extra stuff, and that comes down to the end of gen. Mm-hmm. But we did know a lot of stuff prior to E3, and we're not seeing the gameplay, which would have made it different to things that we'd seen before, or it just was lacking that little bit of a spark, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but people are like, I guess my big thing is I agree, and I said that just before, but people are online saying, I see a lot of people on Twitter and so on and so forth acting like the lack of big reveals and big bangs says something about E3 as a show, whereas to me, it doesn't say anything about E3 as a show. It's just how it is at the end of a gen. Like I think the less attendees to E3 says stuff about E3 as a show. I think PlayStation not attending says something about E3 as a show. I think EA continuing to do their own thing, Activision not caring to attend still, all these sorts of things. They say things about E3 as a show. The Xbox and all the companies that were in attendance not having big bang things, nothing to do with E3, I don't think. That is just the time of the generation we're in. They're completely separate in my mind. They're not all linked in together, I guess. And the thing is, like, overall, it's like the show wasn't bad. There was enough stuff where I was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking to do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
We'll rank the conferences shortly, but I wasn't bored. Like, there was enough to intrigue me. It wasn't like, this was a terrible E3. I've seen worse E3s, is what I'd say.
Yeah.
2000 and, I don't know, like around that 2009, 2010-ish period or something like that. Yeah, around the Wonderbook type stuff. Those E3s are worse than this, in my mind. Way worse than this. Microsoft didn't know really what they were, even like the first year, maybe not. Yeah, Wonderbook, that's just the worst year. Let's just lock that in. But I would, rank that way worse than this year, personally.
I think overall it was a really good show. It just didn't have the, not everything that was coming out sort of thing that was like, oh my God, this is awesome what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think we'll get that a lot next year, though. Is the thing.
Yeah.
I know everyone wanted it this year. They wanted Halo gameplay and all these sorts of things that when were shown, and people wanted to get into that next gen feeling time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're not getting the consoles. We want to see what we're going to be getting with them.
Yeah, I think if PlayStation had have like set up the PS5 to releasing early next year, then maybe this E3 would have been a lot different. But PlayStation's going to be coming. Even if they come before Xbox, and let's say Xbox.
Well, let's just assume they come out at the same time, which is holiday next year.
Yeah, well, let's say holiday next year. But like I was gonna say, like even if Xbox releases November and a PS4 was to come out like early September or something, right? Like just slight couple months difference, like not exactly holiday, but slightly before type thing. Either way, we're not seeing anything about next gen until we hit that like certain period next year. So it just means E3 next year is going to be, if you're looking for hype, the next couple of years of E3 are going to be back into hype mode because we're going to have next generation of console kicking off next year at E3. We're going to have the following year where they're still trying to kick off and get next generation going. If Microsoft or PlayStation stumble out of the gate with next gen stuff, then the second year of E3 is going to be interesting as well because that's where they're trying to fix all the mistakes they've made. So I always find the most interesting period for any console and in the games industry is the first couple of years of a console, and the last couple of years are obviously, well, the last year or two can be okay because that's when you get some like trailers for stuff like your Last of Us and your God of Wars, that these games have been like finishing up the generation a bit. But the last year's always whatever. Like here are these games, you know about these games, but here's how it goes. Nintendo's in an interesting spot because, and like I'll just spoil you, when we rank the conferences in a second, my number one is Nintendo, and Nintendo wins easily because they're in a completely different spot to PlayStation, Xbox. Xbox is ending the generation; they're coming into next gen next year. PlayStation's ending a generation, coming into next gen next year. Nintendo Switch is basically in the middle of its life cycle.
They're in a sweet spot.
They're in a good spot where they come to this E3 and they get to tease a couple big bangers that are still going to be coming for their console, like the Breath of the Wild 2 and these sorts of things. And they, at the same time, get to be like, cool, we've got a first-party title coming out every fucking month for the rest of the year. Cool. So that's why their conference or their direct feels a lot different, I think. But okay, let's get into it so then we can get through to our top 5 games and so on and so forth. Let's go through. And we'll just, like I'll say, Ash, you give your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 type thing. We're not going to swing it around. Just give your full list of your conferences ranked. I have my conferences ranked 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've also ranked everything I watch because I watched some stuff that you people did not, I assume. But Ash, how do you rank the conferences this year?
Okay. Bethesda, Square, Ubisoft, Microsoft, Nintendo.
Bethesda, Square.
Yep.
Microsoft.
Ubisoft, Microsoft.
Oh, Ubisoft. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right, fair enough.
I feel like that middle three is like super close. They could be interchangeable depending on the day that I'm thinking about it. And then Bethesda was definitely the weakest of the conferences.
I think you'll find our lists similar.
Probably.
Come back into it. Cherie.
My list is exactly the same, except that I was more leaning towards whether Bethesda was the worst or Square Enix was the worst. Not in regards to like, I was thinking more as well as my feelings about them, you know? But they're pretty much on par for me. Yeah. That one was definitely a worse conference, but then like feeling wise, you know?
I think my feelings, aside from everything, I'd say Bethesda's was way worse paced. Square Enix's is just going to be really boring if you don't give a shit about JRPGs.
Yes.
Yep.
But that's the company. That's Square Enix. So like, like, you know, this is how it works. Mine, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Xbox, Nintendo. Yeah, I think it's like, I know a lot of people have been saying Bethesda was really good. There was a couple of announcements during Bethesda's I really liked, like everyone's new favorite developer, Spooky. That's like one of the standout moments of E3, I think. But other than that, I don't think anything Bethesda showed was super interesting. It's like the most interesting stuff they showed was next-gen teaser. Well, what we presume is next-gen teaser stuff.
Teaser trailers, yeah.
Ubisoft's was really weird. Ubisoft could have done so much better if they just showed more gameplay.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you start so strong, and I've never seen you fly so hard into the ground, following what happened. And Square Enix was headstrong with Final Fantasy VII, and after that point, if you didn't really care about JRPGs, you were bored until they showed Avengers, and I'm on record saying that Avengers did nothing for me.
I think in hindsight, they should have done it the other way around.
Showing Avengers first and ended with Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Because the people who sat through the JRPG stuff would be the people who still cared for Final Fantasy because it's similar-ish.
Yes and no. I think I reckon the Final Fantasy remake will have, because it's an action RPG, not a, it's not like your traditional turn-based type thing. I think it'll have an audience that is different to like your Octopaths and Dragon Quests and whatever else. But yeah, Nintendo, easy win, I think. Xbox I enjoyed. It was fun, but they didn't really show a lot for this year. Not that I was
Keanu
super
bumped
surprised
up
by
the
that.
points a fair bit.
Keanu was fun, but I think like we've reached the end of the
just
week,
in
and
people's,
I'm not jaded on Keanu. I'm just like, I'm sick of the memes now.
Like on the internet, Keanu won E3.
Yeah. But Nintendo, I really, really love Nintendo's. I've seen obviously a lot of people be like, Nintendo's wasn't that interesting. I really, really thought Nintendo's was great. As I just said before, they basically have, apart from like maybe 1 or 2 months, I think, or maybe it's just 1 month, they have a release coming out every month for the rest of the year. And people are like, well, where are the games? Like Xbox is showing no games and stuff. And Nintendo's over here like, we have this first party title, we have this exclusive, we got Luigi, Astral Chain, Daemon X Machina, Link's Awakening, Pokemon. Like they've got a game coming out for like every month for the rest of the year, basically. It's like, come on.
I think that the other thing that Nintendo did really well is there was plenty of titles in their Direct that we had already seen, we already knew were coming. It was all well and good, but they mixed it up. They showed us gameplay. They showed us things in more detail than what we hadn't seen before. So the stuff that they teased a little bit of previously, we got more of that, and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, it was
to get hyped for the
new
games,
gameplay, new story details, or for a lot of it, release dates, release windows, these sorts of things, whatever else. So a couple new announcements, DLC for stuff like Smash, what have you. So, but most of what Nintendo showed was either, as I just said, for the rest of the year, or stuff that we're going to presume is going to kick off their early 2020 period. So they've used their Direct to pretty much set up their next 9 months or so, I guess, somewhat. They're good. Like, if you own a Switch, it's a fuck ton of games coming for it, let alone third-party stuff and whatever else. So I thought they did great. Okay, so now, as I said before, if you want to hear us cover a bunch of
what are the other things
titles that we... Okay,
you said there was other things you watched that you wanted to rank.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'll do that real quick. So I did an official ranking for everything that I watched that was E3 related. Presentations, conferences, including like the Kind of Funny Showcase, the Upload VR show, and so on and so forth. So if I was including all those, here's my official ranking for everything I watched. Starting from the bottom. Kind of Funny Showcase. I didn't think it was that good. I thought it was okay. There was way too many games. You'd blink and it would be gone when you were like asking for more information. And I couldn't even remember the title because it was gone so fast. It just annoyed me by the end of it. I don't think
that's what they did last time.
I honestly feel like maybe they did.
Yeah.
Maybe they did. But watching this one, I just don't feel like it flowed anywhere near as well.
Or maybe there was just more short trailers than there was last time.
Maybe, but I was just like, there is so much going on here, and I know they're like, well, just get the game and the name come across. But I'm like, I want to see more of this. What is this? What is this? What's going on? It was too hectic for me, and I wasn't a big fan. Above that, I've got the Devolver Digital thing, which is fun. It's basically like watching a movie. It's got a storyline. They announced 3 games, I think, that all look cool. But
I think 4. 4 or 5.
It's 4, was it? I don't even know. But the games they announced look cool, like the 100-player online.
Yeah, that looked 4 flat or something. No.
I can't even remember the name of the game now. Sorry, but yeah, whatever that is, that looked cool. Above that, Bethesda. Above that, Ubisoft. Above that, Square Enix. At my number 4 slot, I've got the PC show. PC show was really, really good this year. They actually flowed really, really well.
Is everything coming to Epic?
Basically, everything they announced was coming to Epic.
Yeah, because they sponsored it, so that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that show flowed really, really well. I thought they brought out developers, they brought out a couple of celebrities at times. They had like people talk about the game, explain stuff. And I thought it was actually, although most people won't watch it because it's the PC showcase and most people are like, I don't care about PC, blah, 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 blah. Overall, as a show, this year, it's really quite good. At number 3, Upload VR. They kind of did their show. It's the first time I've ever done it, and it was inspired by the Kind of Funny show they done early in the year, which I find quite funny because they did what Kind of Funny did, but better this year, or for this event, sorry. It was really well put together. It showed, this is the thing with this, if you don't care about VR, obviously this show's not going to do anything for you because it's all fucking VR games, surprise, surprise. But if you do care about VR, there was lots of really cool big VR games, small VR games, indie VR games, AAA VR games, what have you, DLC for stuff. Lots of really cool looking games throughout the whole thing. So obviously I like VR, and the way it was presented, the way it was put together, they had not only trailers, they had interviews with some of the devs and so on. So I really enjoyed that. And then above that, I'd have Xbox and then Nintendo at number 1. So my top 3 would be Nintendo, Xbox, and then Upload VR if I was ranking everything. So there's my official ranking of E3 for you. The only thing I don't have on there, I think, is the AMD thing, which I didn't watch.
Say VR one more time.
VR. All right. So moving on. Going to go through and give you I was going to say before. If we miss talking about something here, as I said before, bonus episodes of Arcade Couch, go listen to those. We'll cover and give you our thoughts on stuff on there, presumably. But what we're going to do is going to go through, taking turns going, I'll go Ash 5, Cherie 5, I'll give my number 5, and then come back around 4, 4, 4, 4, get you. And we're going to give our top 5 games from E3 this year. If you don't have yours in order, I don't care. Mine are in order because I like to do things that way, of course. But yeah, let's kick it off and start with you, Ash. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is Final Fantasy VII Remake. As someone who hasn't played a Final Fantasy VII, it definitely looks like the one I'll be jumping in on, and it's not too far away. So, yeah, it definitely looks like Kingdom Hearts, which is the plus in that combat style. So, yeah, it looks very pretty.
Mm-hmm. It does look very pretty. I've read some more stuff recently about it. This game will probably make it on my list as well as the tease.
Foreshadowing.
Cherie, what's your number 5 then?
Watch Dogs. Legion.
Excuse me? Oh, Watch Dogs. I heard
Legion, yeah.
I heard Watch Shocks. And
Watch
I was like,
Shocks?
What
That's
Shocks?
the game I love. I'd like to point out that yes, it is darker and grungier than the previous games it appears to be. I'm just going to put that out there again. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I think it's completely different. And I mean, the granny thing sort of just had me just take over anyone. So yeah, I want to know more and I am excited. It's going to be like, different enough from the other games, I think. So... Mm-hmm.
I can jump in here because Watch Dogs is my number 5 as well. I had such a weird relationship with this game over the period of E3. When it was announced, I was like, this looks really cool. Straight afterwards, I was like, I refuse to get excited about this because I don't believe what they're showing at all. But then as E3 continued and people got their chances to play the game on the show floor, people kept like writing up articles and so on and being like, no, it does work and it's really cool. And I'm like, oh, don't say that. Like, don't get me excited because when it was revealed, just the technology behind it, I'm like, no, this ain't going to work. There's no way this works the way it does. Like recruit basically anyone in the world, get your army of grannies, do what you need to do. The amount of just scripting and like on a technical level, I was just like, I do not accept that this game is a real thing that'll actually release and happen the way they're trying to promote it. And, like most things, so I'm sure by the time it releases, there will be some changes. But if the core mechanic of you being able to basically recruit nearly everyone from the world to DedSec and then have them be playable characters with their own sorts of ability, or not abilities, like stats, I guess, somewhat. Like, because apparently, like, the granny can't run. And then, like, obviously younger characters can be a bit more nimble and so on and so forth. So there are, like, slight changes between character types and their backgrounds and these sorts of things. Like, if all of that's in it, and then with the dialogue and then, like, how they'll interact during cutscenes depending on who you're playing and all this sort of stuff, I'm like, if all of that really plays out the way they're pitching it, the way I've been reading about it, that is probably one of the most exciting, like, games from a technical level, I think, from E3 this year, I guess, because that's really just crazy to me. I'm like, I don't know how you make that work.
Yeah.
So I'll say Watch Dogs Legion is my number 5 as well. Although I'm skeptical about its story, and I'm still going to stay by that. And by the story, I mean having if there's no core protagonist for me to care about, like, am I going to care as much about the overall story? And we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Need more information on how this is all playing out. Ash, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. One of the earliest things we saw during this E3, obviously because it came out at EA Play. Yeah, it looks good. Apparently it plays good, even though it's even people who looked at it and didn't think it looked impressive when they actually got their hands on, apparently they're pretty happy with it. So yeah, I was happy with the demo. It looked cool, even though people complained that the player didn't play very well. That's probably how I'm going to play. I'm not going to dodge perfectly every single time. So,
by people you mean Kieran?
But yes, Kieran, specifically Kieran.
My thing for you is, does any of like the comparisons to the Souls games scare you?
No, because I play God of War and that was similar-ish to Souls, I guess.
Yes.
So
I feel like everything I've read about this, they're like, it's pretty inspired by Souls games somewhat, but they've purposely said in interviews and stuff that they're not trying to make it anywhere near as
difficult.
Like, they're not trying to carry over the punishing level of difficulty. They're trying
take out most of those stormtroopers with one slice. So
yeah, that's supposed to be a thing. That's supposed to be something about the gameplay. Like, instead of like slashing away heaps before killing an enemy, they want you to block heaps or whatever, and then when you actually hit the enemy, they go down in one strike. Which it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's a lightsaber.
Yeah, it's a fucking lightsaber. Yeah, but it's funny, like, because they said like the health packs you get, that little droid can shoot out and stuff.
Yes, it's got a little droid. BD.
I was reading later that those health packs and stuff are like vials from Dark Souls, where you can have like a max of 2 and they'll get refilled at save points and you'll be able to get more and stuff. So very much like flasks from Bloodborne and Dark Souls and these sorts of things. So it's quite funny how inspired it is in some elements and all this. Cherie, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Luigi's
Mansion 3.
Mansion 3, yep.
Hello?
Yeah, this game looks so cute. I think because I haven't previously played the other two, but I saw it and I was like, I was already hyped for it. Then the gameplay and all the, expanded information that they gave us at E3, I was like, this is going to be cool. It's just going to be awesome fun. Guigi made me giggle a lot what he could do, and I think that opens up, different elements of the gameplay, and it's just going to be cool fun. That's all. It's going to be cool fun. It's going to be a good ride. It's not going to be scary. It's going to be...
I'd like to point out you have played a Luigi's game, because we briefly played the one.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count.
Playing it at an arcade does not count.
That's the only Luigi's Mansion game I've played. I haven't played any of them ever before. So...
But yeah, I think it looks cool. I'm so excited. It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, Guigi. And I think having Guigi as like a second player in the game too, that really fits into the Switch and co-op and all those cool fun things that the Switch has.
Cool fun things that Switch has. I was watching the gameplay from Treehouse Live, and that got me a little bit more excited for it, because the environments and stuff were just a lot more detailed than I thought they looked in the actual trailer, because it was cutting. Obviously it cuts a lot more, whereas watching the gameplay I'm like, oh, I like the spooky house with the spooky things. Also, apparently the game just starts with like Toad driving a bus, Luigi's on it, and then they get to the hotel and they're like, oh, thanks for the bus ride, and off we go, and then the spooky ghosts appear, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like a fun Saturday morning cartoon, so that's cool. Number 4. Yeah, okay.
The thing that made me laugh the most out of the trailer as well is when Guigi doesn't mix with water, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, and he goes down the drain, and you're like, oh, boy, Guigi.
And I had a big Guigi at the Nintendo thing at E3 as well, which I wonder if it was, I was wondering the entire time, I kept seeing it in videos, if it was edible or if it was made out of plastic.
Oh yeah, a jelly Guigi.
It could have been a jelly Guigi or something. Maybe someone ate it after E3 ended. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. I'll have to find out. That's real journalism. My number 4 is the Dark Crystal tactics game.
Ogre slept too long. Far too long.
Which, I think this is my number 1. Like, this is going to... Well... It's like when I was watching the thing, right? And I said it there and then as it showed up. I'm like, oh, the tactics game. Cool. If this is a proper like Final Fantasy tactics game, I'm 100% all in for this. And I watched the half-hour gameplay that they showed during the Treehouse Live. And yes, I'm very, very, very keen for this, because I really like these tactics games. Like Ogre Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, like this 90s era of tactics games. But they don't make them like this anymore. People like to point at XCOM and these sorts of things as obviously where the genre's gone, but it's not really like even Mario and Rabbids, which I was really excited for because that's a tactics game as well, and that was good, but it wasn't this. This is like old school tactics game that I like. So, and I have no attachment to the franchise, as I was saying during the Nintendo Direct after show, post show, whatever it's called, when me and Ash were talking about it. I've watched the movie when I was a kid. I don't really remember anything about it. I watched the trailer for the Netflix prequels TV show that's coming out, which this game's a tie-in for. I thought it looked all right. Whatever. Cool. It's a thing that exists. I'll probably watch it. I'll probably watch the movie maybe before or after again to see how I'm into it. Because TV shows are prequel either way, so whatever. But the reason I'm hyped for this is because it's a tactics game. But they showed off a bunch of different classes. You can switch between or characters which have different classes. You can suit them out with different weapons. The classes level up. You get to unlock new abilities. It's your typical like square-based combat where different characters have different movement speeds and range combat critters, and some objectives will have bonus stuff like a character might be trying to escape and you have to try and clear the level as fast as possible. They said there's going to be like 80 levels across this thing with whatever else happening, and yeah, I'm like, this is 100% a game I'm just going to primarily play on my Switch in handheld mode, and that's all I want. I remember the entire time the PS Vita was out, I was just like, Final Fantasy Tactics every year. Just give me Final Fantasy Tactics. I just want a fucking tactics game on this handheld console because those are the sorts of games I want to play in handheld, and never got one. Now I'm getting this. So I may be the only person in the world that puts this in the top 5. Wouldn't surprise me. But I'm pretty damn keen for it. It's coming out later this year at some point. Don't have a date yet, so that's cool. Ash, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Fire Emblem: The Three Houses.
How lovely it would be for this moment to last forever.
Yeah. They showed had a
Nerd.
Yeah, nerd. They had a lengthy gameplay demo at Nintendo Treehouse that got me interested. It looks like it's going to be tactical strategy, fun. But the other thing is they revealed something about the second half of the game.
Time jump, 5 years.
Yeah. Which, sounds interesting. It makes sense that the school part's probably going to act more as the prologue than to the actual game. But the way they market it is very interesting, obviously.
Yeah, I want to know how long it is, though, like how long the first part of the game is or whatever, because I watched the gameplay thing too, and
it looked lengthy.
The game looks really cool. As I've been saying when I was talking about it on the thing, probably going to be my first Fire Emblem game. I'm keen to try this. It will be my first Fire Emblem game. I've never played one before. But watching the thing, it's like you have to pick between 3 houses, obviously, and then you play a certain house, and you're the teacher, and then you train up all these students, and you do battles and stuff during this time period. But I assume when the actual war starts or whatever, then there's going to be this 5-year time jump, and I'm like, at what stage does that happen? How much of the game is that, and so on and so forth? Like, it's a lot. It seems.
Sounds like a lot. Yeah, and in between that is all these anime cutscenes.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, lots of drama.
Yeah, who doesn't want that?
Yeah, seems cool though. I'm keen to. Cherie, what is your number 3?
It's kind of tied of 2 completely different games. One of them is Star Wars, and the other one is Ori. Because
wait, so you've put 6 games on your list?
Look, I'm allowed, and I'll tell you why. Ori, I've had pre-ordered for ages already. Knew it was coming, loved it, was already hyped. That's fine. So it kind of just wins anyway. Star Wars looks amazing, but the realistic thought process I was having was that I probably won't have time for this game. So as much as I saw the gameplay and was like, this is going to be awesome, and I'm super keen, and it was fully hyping me when, you're slicing everyone, anyway, I just don't think I'm going to have the time for it. I would like to have the time for it, but life-wise, that's just not, that's
people
not
just
a
sit
thing
there and watch.
for me, unfortunately. If that was the only game I played ever, then sure, yeah. But I think it's definitely going to be an awesome, that. I think that was probably one of my highlight trailers / gameplay of everything. It was also probably because it was obviously early on in the week, but I think it I really liked it. But yeah, I mean, I've been hyped for Ori for ages. It just sucks that, still waiting till February, but it'll be worth the wait. It's all right.
Wait, is it February? I thought it was later than that.
Oh yeah, it got pushed. Did it get pushed?
I have no idea. I can't remember. I know the date's ages away though. It's next year.
Yeah, I thought it was February.
I thought it got pushed out this year to early next year though.
Yeah, it is February next year.
Yeah, I think it's
11th of February.
Oh, early Feb. But yeah, so I just know it's ages away. But I mean, I've been hyped for it for ages. So since last year.
What did you pre-order it on?
Pardon?
What did you pre-order it on Xbox?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
That's
my receipt is on my fridge.
Xbox or PC, so
yeah, it would have been on Xbox. I'm not a PC nerd. Come on.
Yeah, I was about to say
it was on some trade-in thing, trade in, and you get, it was not obviously for E3, but it was some deal they had that was similar where it was at EB, trade in.
My number 3 is back to Nintendo, Astral Chain.
We can't turn back now. I've got to know the whole truth. He's still alive out there.
So this is coming out August 30th, and you play as a police officer, and you hunt monsters, and you got a little monster that is attached to you, and you're part of like a special force, and only you can see as special monsters, and it's like very Japanese, and it looks very cool. That's about sums up the game, I think. I've always thought it looked cool in trailers and stuff. I never got super interested until I watched like many things during E3. Actually, a lot of the Treehouse Live stuff where they showed like half-hour chunks of the gameplay. And I was like, okay, cool. It's not actually a game where you're just doing like fight after fight after fight. Like there's a lot of character stuff where you can just interact with people at your police station. And there's parts where like I wrote up this news story because I found it interesting in part of the gameplay where you actually have to find like police clues at a crime scene and like collect them all into a little police handbook, and then you track down the monster using your little astral thing that is called a legion, and you use that to track down the monster, and then you get into the huge fight. And all the monster designs look really cool, really unique. And then overall, the trailer they played even during the Nintendo Direct, I thought was very cool and stuff. Obviously, easy description is it's very anime, very Japanese, these sorts of things, which it is, but I think it looks rather unique. The game also starts really epic. You're on a motorbike, going in this thing. It's very cool. I liked what I saw. Astral Chain. It's out August 30th. Nintendo Switch. It's a game. Ash, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Outer Worlds. That's the right one.
Fallout Space.
Yeah, Fallout in space. Well, it's only taking place in apparently 2 worlds, so I don't know how.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks good. It looks like Fallout, and it looks like apparently you can do anything and be anything. You can be a dick. You can be an idiot, apparently. Like you can actually like if you lower your intelligence below average, apparently you can make dumb dialect options. So, yeah.
Is that what you want to do?
Maybe. Just go around as a really dumb, strong person with short temper. Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, looks good, sounds good. We'll see how it goes.
Cool. Cherie, what's your number 2?
Link's Awakening. What a freaking cutie game. I can't even wait. So not having been, a part of the Nintendo fam for very long, I haven't played a Zelda game, I don't think, ever.
I like how you're like, I don't think. I could have.
No, I mean, as in like I could have played it, at my neighbor's place or whatever and not even remembered much of it because I know that they did have it, but I've never played a Zelda game before. I know that, oh God, guys, anyone listening here, hardcore Zelda fans will be like, this isn't a Zelda game, whatever. But my goodness, what
this
a cutie.
This is a Zelda game.
I know, but come on, we're talking about hardcore. This isn't, Breath of the Wild we're talking about here, folks.
Every time we talk about Zelda game, I rip out the fact that my favorite Zelda game is the Minish Cap, and that makes hardcore Zelda fans go, the one where your hat talks? And I'm like, yeah, the one where my fucking hat talks. Get out of my life.
Yeah, work for Mario.
So it looks like, I liked what we saw of it before, but this is cuter, but beyond my expectations. And yeah, I'm super keen. I'm a bit of a keen bean for this little cutie.
I also had Link's Awakening as my number 2, surprisingly. I don't know how we've managed to cop 2 at the same exact position, but there you go. That's how that worked out. I was interchanging a lot between this one and my number 1, but I ended up putting this at number 2 because I'm like, well, it is a remake. And then I'm like, but spoilers, the other one's a remake as well. But then I was like, at least the other one's a bit more like gameplay's expanded on a lot more. This one is
visual,
more like visual changes, but the overall core gameplay is going to be the same. But the thing that excites me most about this one is it's very cute. I changed my display picture for a couple of days because that part where Link catches the fish and he like looks at the camera, he's like, did I do good? And I'm like, you did good, my boy. And he's like, got the fish, and I'm like, oh, you're cute, my cute little Link friend pal. And so overall the graphic style I absolutely adore. But the other thing is that I haven't played this game for like, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 years probably. So I'm going to go into it, even though I know how A to Z, what happens at A, I know what happens at the end of the game. I cannot fucking remember what happens between those 2 points though, because it's been so long since I played it, which is good because it means I'll have a better experience. I won't be like just rushing through it. Like I remember I seen like Brian Altano's Twitter. He said he like went to the Nintendo booth and they're like, oh, you've got 15 minutes. And because he's played the game so much, he like pretty much speed ran through the first dungeon because he knows where everything is. And he's played the game that much, he could do that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And like it proves that the game obviously still keeps the blueprint of the game it's remaking. I'm like, that's cool and all, but I'm more excited going into this having not played it since I was a kid, because I'll get to experience it as a basically new game, which is just exciting on its own, I think. So that's really cool. And I've said a million times over, and if you couldn't count that by like me saying Minish Cap's my favorite Zelda, I prefer these Zelda games to the
3D.
The 3D ones. Yeah. Because this is how I was introduced to Zelda. I played all the Game Boy ones before I even touched or saw what the hell Ocarina of Time looked like. So I remember the first time I saw Ocarina of Time at a friend's place, they were like, Zelda, Ocarina of Time is my favorite game. I was like, what the hell's an Ocarina of Time? Like Zelda. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have a 64, I've got a PlayStation. And then they showed me the game and I was like, oh, I don't like this because the character model looked all weird to me and it was just completely different. But I'd already played, I'd played all the Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, Link's Awakening, Link to the Past. Like I'd played all these Zelda games, but I was just like, I have no idea what this Ocarina of Time nonsense is. So that's how I got introduced to Zelda, and that's how I've always thought of Zelda, as these top-down ones, and that's how I prefer them. Ash, what is your...
So did you get the limited edition?
100% pre-ordered that limited edition. How could you say no to a steelbook that looks like the original Game Boy?
That's true. It is a pretty looking
That is one of the best steelbooks.
Even though it's going to be like a tiny little cartridge inside that massive steelbook.
I don't care about the cartridge. They give me a download code for the game for all I care. I just want the steelbook with the Game Boy. Also, it's not very expensive. It's only...
It's 109.
120? What? Did you say 209? No, it's like 120, 100... Yeah, it's only a little bit more than the normal edition would cost you anyway, so... Cool.
Like 40
You get
bucks.
a little art book with it? Get excited.
It's not the
I have to buy the
craziest
top
collector's
one.
edition that came out this week.
No, I'm not buying... Cyberpunk one can go fuck itself. How boring. One of the most boring collector's editions I've ever seen in my life. Our big exciting game... Don't even get me started on Cyberpunk. And then the Doom one as well. I would have no faith in that being a very good product after the whole shenanigans with the Fallout thing. It's a helmet that's made out of a trash bag. It's a paper mache helmet. Like it's a $500 collector's edition. I have no faith in that one either. Anyway, what's your number one, Ash?
My number one is Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, Legends.
Legends.
This had better be fucking good.
This was the most impressive demo, I think, of all the conferences. Easily the best shown game. And yeah, just the world is incredible. I just went back and rewatched the Ubisoft demo that they did, gameplay full demo. Each person in the world has their own characteristics. They've got their own relationships. Everything's connected. It's like a real world version of the Mordor games. You know how they've got the Nemesis
Shadow of
system?
Mordor.
Yeah, shout out to those games, yeah.
Nemesis
the Nemesis system. It's like that, except in a real world. So what they've done is just populated London with like thousands and thousands of people. They've all got their own unique personalities. They've got their own unique schedules, places they're going to be at certain times and that kind of thing, and relationships and everything. Apparently, if you kill somebody, their family members will go mourn them.
Yeah,
That's
this
cool.
is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff I'm like, that doesn't make it to the final game. I'm very doubtful.
I want it to
it's
be.
going to be that in depth with stuff.
You kill somebody, 2 days later, everybody's at a funeral.
Yeah, I read this story as well. They're like, if you kill someone's family member, they'll have a funeral. I'm like, no. Yeah, okay, that sounds impressive, but no, I don't believe you.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen because they said it. They're going to make sure it's in there. Otherwise, they'll be called liars, and who wants to be called a liar?
If only that's how game development works. Okay, Cherie, what is your number one?
This is pretty obvious, but Pokemon, Sword and Shield. I mean, most of my hype for this, though, came from the Pokemon Direct that we had.
A week before
week
E3,
prior?
of which we're doing the top 5 for, but that's okay.
But it was still shown at the Direct for E3, so I think it still counts. This is
Oh, it counts. But
oh, it definitely counts. Yeah, this game is going to be awesome. It's going to be my first proper Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait. I'm a bit of a Pokemon fan, in case you don't know. I think this game looks great. Oh, I'm very excited. Give me all the cuties and I'll play. Basically everything I enjoyed about this E3 was to do with Nintendo, really.
Yeah.
Sums it up.
Out of E3, we also got the news that the new Best Boy Yamper is coming to the game.
Yep.
Yeah, little corgi friend.
Sorry, Wooloo.
Yeah, get out of here, Willie. Fucking nerd.
No, don't get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
You know what's better than
No.
a sheep? Corgi.
Corgi.
Queen was onto something. We just didn't realize.
Yeah. I saw someone point out online, they're like, now that they've added, I can't remember who I saw share it now. I think I saw Rocket Mummy like the tweet or something like that, but it was like someone saying something along the lines of, now that they've got a Corgi in it, it just confirms that the Elite Four boss or whatever is just going to be the fucking Queen. I'm like, yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's like the game's inspired by England or whatever. Like,
I just think, that so far I like all the Pokies that I've seen, and obviously I'm excited because it's my first proper Pokemon game. I think all of the new additions that they're bringing into the game as well, that we've previously spoken about on our Pokemon arcade couch, basically, where like I said then, I think that all those new additions are going to be really positive and bring something different to the game, and it's going to be exciting, and I'm super excited. Give me the game. Give it to me.
Watch the like everything else we've mentioned Treehouse Live a bunch during this thing at this stage, but they showed Pokemon during Treehouse Live as well, of course. They had one of the interesting parts I liked is I remember watching the trailer and being like, oh, do you have to get the bike? Like, do you upgrade the bike so it can go on water and all these sorts of things? It's like, no, it just works, which I kind of like.
That's how bikes work over there.
Yeah, you press one button, you automatically jump onto your bike. As soon as you ride the bike into water, it just automatically blows up these like things around the wheels, and then next second you're off. They also like showed a little bit of the multiplayer stuff or however that works, which I wasn't fully I couldn't fully understand how it works. But one of the other people picked up a Switch and then joined the game that we was watching, and then that character actually showed up in that person's game. And then I think that's how you're going to do the raids, I guess. Like, you can have people show up into your games and you'll run up to those stone things we store and so on and so forth. But I need more details on that, although just I'm like...
Well, okay. I mean, it's the same world, so everybody just shows up in each other's world, I guess.
I guess somewhat. Like, just... Yeah. Well, I doubt it'll work in the towns. It's just going to work during the...
Yeah, the wild area. It's only going to be in there, I assume, yeah.
Also, all the Pokemon, like how it works... in the wild area, like we was kind of talking about that arcade couch episode the other week. Is it like you walk around, you see Pokemon walking around in the wild, you can run up to them to
start a
battle. Although some of them will run away from you depending on the Pokemon. And then also, like while you're in grass, you can press a button to crouch to try and sneak up on Pokemon that are a bit more timid and might run away from you. You can whistle to attract Pokemon, which is necessary to attract like flying Pokemon and so on and so forth, because in this one, unlike Let's Go, the flying Pokemon will actually be up in the air above you, which makes a lot more sense. So it's like if there's a Butterfree or something, I think this example they used during the Treehouse Live, it's like if there's a Butterfree up there, you can't just get up there to get into a battle with it. You're going to have to try and whistle to get it down. Or, I was like, or I would presume, and I'm hoping maybe, well, so like in Let's Go, eventually some of the flying Pokemon, you hop on them and then you can fly around in the air, like move around in the air with them. So I'm hoping in this game they'll let you do the same thing in the wild area, so then you could fly around and bump into Pokemon that way as well, I guess. But other than that, it looks like a Pokemon game. Looks really cool. I liked everything I saw during Treehouse Live as well. My number one game though is one Ash has already talked about. My number one game is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I really, really liked everything I saw. I'm honestly surprised. Well, I was in like such a love-hate relationship for a little while because it was like, I was trying to debate if I would have preferred it to just be one game. Because of course the problem with it being multiple parts is how many years do I have to wait to see the end of this? And then also for people who haven't played the game before, how many years do they fucking have to wait to see how the...
Probably the same amount of time you're going to have to wait for them to
Yeah, no, but it's less of a problem for me, I guess, because I know how the
story
I've played
goes.
through 7 a couple times. I know how the story goes.
How many
and these
people are
sorts
going
of
to play
things.
this first episode and then go, I want to know how the story ends. I'm just going to play
And then look it up, I guess.
play
Which is
just
why-
play through the original
Yeah.
version.
Well, people would start up the original and then go, yeah, no, I'll wait. I'll wait for the
God.
remake. The other thing I'm like wondering is because we see in the trailers and so on for this, and I don't really mind it. At first I was like, but now I've come to accept it a little bit, I guess. They're making changes. They're adding in scenes. Like we see the scene with Aerith where she's interacting with Cloud in the street, and then all of a sudden these giant like shadowy like figures type swirling around them. That's not in the original. Don't know what that's to do with. In this one, they also show that Cloud is seeing Sephiroth as a like vision. Like Sephiroth is talking to him in his mind. We see that during a scene in the trailer they announced as well. That's not from the original. So they're building and adding on to the game quite a bit, which I think opens up a lot of really unique possibilities. Especially when it comes to connecting in some of the spin-off material and stuff they did. Like there's the anime movie that was released 10 plus years ago, whatever it was, called Advent Children, which you either like or don't like. I'm on the side of liking it. I don't think its substance is fully there and makes as much sense as the core game. But I remember they were always trying to explain like, yeah, this would make a lot more sense if we could fit certain things into the game. And I'm like, well, but you didn't. And now this movie is quite confusing. But I'm hoping maybe since they're remaking the game now that they'll be able to tie in elements introduced in that movie. Maybe introduce some stuff that ties into like stuff like Crisis Core and so on and so forth. Don't put that game in here like Kieran thinks as well, but like put in elements and characters potentially or mentions of stuff, I guess, that you could tease that would make a lot more sense. And the fact that they're doing this whole like part 1 thing, well, firstly, it's not called Part 1, which I find quite annoying. I don't know why they wouldn't just call this Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. They're calling it Final Fantasy Remake, and then we know Part 2 is going to come out, and they're either going to have to call it Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, or they're going to call it like Final Fantasy VII
Remake .5.
Or like calling this one Midgar would have made more sense or something. You know what I mean? Like Final Fantasy VII Remake Midgar. And then the Part 2 comes out, it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake whatever you want to call it. Like some sort of subtitled name or something to differentiate them all.
They'll do it post when the next game comes out. They'll rebrand it.
Maybe. I don't really know. But everything, it's the thing. Like Final Fantasy VII's core gameplay, which is turn-based role-playing, old school style, I really, really love. And from the Final Fantasy, out of all the Final Fantasy games, apart from like 9, it's probably my favorite battle system from all of them because it's a rather simple system and I enjoy them more that way. Like all you had to do was mess around a bit with the gear and stuff, but it wasn't super in-depth. This one works as an action game, and then you also have like tactical elements of it where you can freeze time and all these sorts of things. And I'm 100% down for it. It looks stunning. It looks beautiful. I love all the character models. I've come on board with the voice acting. I like the way that they're just expanding the story. Yeah. So I walked out at E3 and went, what game, top 5 games. I tried to think about what game was shown that newly excited me the most. And it's very easy to be like, oh, Pokemon. Like, I could have put Pokemon on mine as well. But I think the thing is like, I've seen Pokemon before E3, whereas we hadn't actually seen gameplay for 7. So that's why I was trying to, like, this is a bit more exciting for me, I guess. We
you're just trying to 7. Tell me that my choice is bad. I see how it is.
No, because there was other things I had on my list, like on my short list I had that Bethesda game as well, because I really liked the teaser trailer for it. Not Deathloop, Dove one, the horror
Ghostwire
one.
Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo. I had Ghostwire Tokyo on my short list of like 10 games because originally, and I was like, but they don't show anything other than a really cool teaser trailer. So yeah, that gets off the list as well. I was trying to put stuff that had gameplay that I hadn't seen before that excited me, I guess.
What were like our other shout out games?
We can go shout-outs. You go shout-outs? Go for shout-outs. Shout-outs.
Like, obviously there's games that I'm excited for that, weren't obviously part of my E3 hype, but, Hollow Knight and I'm really interested in that Gods and Monsters.
I need to see gameplay.
Game? Pardon?
Or some idea what it actually is.
For that. Yeah, I need to find out what it is. I like the art style and everything.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I'm definitely interested in what that would be. Our biggest letdown of the show, I feel like, is Cyberpunk, to be honest. That's my biggest letdown of the show.
It's Cyberpunk is good for people who are actually there because we got nothing except secondhand stories of what it was like. Everybody's raving about it. IGN gave it pretty much every single award they've got, even the best fighter, best puzzle game, best strategy game. My thing, if we're not even the
Cyberpunk can of worms real quickly, I obviously was critical of it for the gameplay they showed on Platinum Explosion last year when they released that video. I thought the trailer, straight after we watched the trailer during the Xbox thing, I didn't like that trailer. I thought it was very generic. The character that they're choosing to show off the game with, I find interesting because obviously you can customize the game.
Yeah.
And they're adding character customization and these types of things.
There is a female option, which is yeah.
But
crazy.
The thing is, to me, the character that they're choosing to show in this trailer and that they've decided to stick on their box art is stereotypical white male, boring, And I was like, is that really what we're going to go with?
This is the future. The white males might be the minority.
Fuck, please, Ash. Fucking please, Ash. And then the other thing, and I'll have to touch this can of worms. The other thing is that during the show, I'm like, will CG Projekt Red and Cyberpunk be able to go for an entire E3 without causing any issues anywhere ever? And the answer was no, because on like day one of E3, pretty much there was people already spotted this. I don't really know how to explain it without graphic, but
it's an ad.
It's an ad in the game. NVIDIA released these screenshots, and there's an ad in the background for a woman for a drink called, I can't remember the official name of it. It's like, I'm not going to say it because I can't remember the official name of the drink. It was an ad for a drink or something, but the woman model that's being used to market the game has a giant raging penis that you can clearly see. What are you smoking about? It's the truth. It's what it looks like. So then obviously, of course, between a lot of people I follow who are trans and then people I saw they were retweeting other people who I don't follow who are also obviously trans, and then just the LGBTQ community in general was quite talkative, I guess is the simplest way to put it about this ad in particular and what it represents. And now people were easy to jump down the throat of like, well, it's an ad in the game. Like, why are you judging the game ahead of time? Blah, 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 blah. And without going too heavily into this issue, I think for people who are trans and they see an advert like this in the game that the developers then came out and said, yeah, it's not supposed to be a good ad. It's supposed to represent that corporations are using them negatively and all these sorts of stuff, which is fine. But the fact remains that CG Projekt Red and another company that's related to them, GOG, have in the past 12 months on their Twitter accounts managed to post transphobic jokes on their Twitter account. The official CG Projekt Red Twitter account, transphobic joke. GOG Twitter account, transphobic joke. So this ad that's in Cyberpunk, the issue isn't just the ad, it's the fact that the ad is in there by a company that's had in the last
one poor
months,
joke.
No, GOG thing as well, and they fired.
But we're not talking
GOG
about GOG. We're
media.
talking about CG Projekt Red.
It's the same company though, is the thing.
No, it's not. Is it?
They're part of one. The CG Projekt Red owns GOG. Is the thing. So that's why people were getting the issues caught up. So I don't know. Like I read an interesting Jason Schreier posted up a podcast today, interviewing the CEO or whatever his official title is of CG Projekt Red. And he Jason Schreier, because he's actually a good journalist, instead of just banging on about how great the game looks like. And this is my thing. I don't want to get too off left field here, but
well, you're already left field.
Annoyed. So. Well, no, it's not really related to CG Projekt. This thing in particular, it's just a game journalist thing where I'm like, I really wish that more people with audiences would have brought this up, because it was very vocal. It was going off on Twitter. I think rightfully so. People from the trans community have all the right to be upset and worried about a thing. That's 100%. It makes perfect sense to me that they should be upset and worried about a thing. But Jason Schreier and a couple of places like Rock Paper Shotgun, Eurogamer, they covered this. But then the rest, the vocal voice for this game is, it's the fucking best game ever, bro. Like, I'm like, does anyone want to bring up that the fact that a group is worried about this game and may not want to play it because they feel outsed and upset about content, and just play it because it's a video game? I'm like, yeah, but there's a thing over here. But anyway, Jason Schreier talked to the dude CEO, and he said, like, we're gonna have character customizations in it. You'll be able to play as a trans character, you're non-binary, what have you. Like, when you play the final game, it'll look better. It's just one joke out of context, blah 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 blah. To which I'm like, cool. I hope that's true. I hope that is the case. And I do think that you can get too heavy on the jumping down CG Projekt Red's face over this one thing. But that's what my point was. It's not just one thing. It's also several Twitter jokes where people have felt that this company doesn't respect them is the core thing. And I think that's important to remember, that this one event doesn't exist as a one event. It exists on top of many other things that have made the trans community feel upset and worried about this particular game, especially in a genre that's about themes that are relevant to trans people. So. But CG Projekt Red overall, between that and me not feeling like Cyberpunk 2077, sorry, between us not actually getting to see the gameplay that everyone's raving about and the trailer that we don't get to see the gameplay, so I'm not excited. The trailer they shown was not exciting to me. And then the most vocal thing between just hearing everyone say, it's the best thing ever. I'm like, yeah, but I can't see that. And then the only thing I could see was this fucking advert, which I too was like, that's a bit weird. And then that's the thing I could actually see and grab onto. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't get to see the gameplay. I don't get to see the gameplay and go, well, that looks cool. All I get to see is the thing and go, well, that looks bad. So my experience with Cyberpunk 2077 across E3 is not good. I wouldn't say it was good.
Well, like I said, when you guys did the extra episode for your reacts and discussions, I said that just wasn't a hype trailer. And I think that's what I kind of wanted, carrying on for what we already knew about it, was that I wanted a hype trailer that's going to be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to get this game. Like, it was like, yes, no, what was it going to be? And we didn't get it.
I need to see, for my personal taste, I need to see something that shows me the characters are more interesting and better written than what I saw in that half-hour gameplay that was released last year, which really somewhat turned me off it, because I thought it was bad voice acting, bad writing. As cool as the world looked, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, the graphics are cool, man. Okay, the graphics could be cool, but the story shit, I'm not that interested, to be honest. But yeah, Ash, do you have any shout-outs or anything left for E3?
No, I think we've covered most of the stuff. Spiritfarer, that's one that from the Xbox conference, beautifully animated, definitely worth wanting to check it out when it comes out. Hopefully, I feel like that's a very Switch game, so I don't know how I feel about it being on console, but like, I think it'd be better in handheld, just in small bites. But yeah, there's probably a bunch of stuff that we're forgetting about, but again, there also wasn't a hell of a lot of these big titles as well. So
off the top of my head, the only two I'll say Lego Star Wars, because I read some more stuff about it and I'm very much down. It looks like a lot of fun.
Was it actually there, or was it?
Say what?
Was it actually there?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Way to the Woods, the deer game.
That looks cool.
I'd never heard of until E3, but had been announced many years ago, and it's also an Australian game. So
PAX,
hopefully we get to play it at PAX or something, because that looked very cute and really cool. Get to be a fucking deer that's kicking down the machines and whatever else. Yeah. So that looked really cute. Pistol Whip is a VR game that was announced in an Upload VR thing. That's a combination of Beat Saber and Super Hot. So it's like a music rhythm game where you shoot bullets, but you're constantly moving, and you don't have to like hit enemies in a certain order, but you're still like shooting them to the beat. The core concept and the stuff they showed during the Upload VR thing was really interesting, and I really like the look of that. The only things that really jumped to the top of my head, I think, Final Fantasy VIII. I don't know if I'll play it. I really want to. I'm like, I feel like that's an underrated announcement, because for a core group of people, it's pretty freaking important to have that game look so much better than it does. Like if you go look at comparison screenshots, it's like, holy shit, this is a proper like HD remaster type thing happening. But for people who don't care, it's like, what's the big deal? It's an old game. But yeah, that's it. That's E3 2019. It's finally over, I guess.
There'll probably be still stuff.
No, it's official. It's over. We're locking down.
Only now is it over. Not after the Nintendo conference finished.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you know. I just want to explain to everyone, because it's come to my attention recently that some people don't actually understand how E3 works. The majority of the conferences that you watch take place before E3. Before E3 as an event starts. The Nintendo Direct happened on day one of E3, I believe, this year. So and it did last year as well, I think. That was day one. Now, E3 goes for 4 days, right? The Microsoft thing, that was before. The Square Enix shit, that was before. EA Play, before. None of that was actually E3. E3 is a 4-day event. It does not end when the conferences end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for joining us on the couch this week. Make sure to check out explosionnetwork.com, in particular explosionnetwork.com/E3, where you will find links to everything that we mentioned, the special episodes of Arcade Couch, the React stuff, E3 relevant news stories, so on and so forth. So go there, check that stuff out. Rate Arcade Couch on Apple Couch, Jesus. Rate Arcade Couch on Apple Podcasts, help out the show, or simply share it on social media with your friends. You can follow Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. Join our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord to talk about all the things. And you can follow me on Twitter at Vivaldil, VIVAL8DIL. You can follow Ash on Twitter at AshleyHobby, ASHLEYHOBLEY. You can follow Cherie on Twitter at Cheriecorno, CHERICORNO. And we'll see you here. Well, actually, me and Cherie won't be here next week, but you'll find Ash here next week.
Yep. I'll probably be here with Kieran so he can make his concession speech.
For what, Ray?
For losing the predictions here.
Look forward to that. Same time, same couch. Well, different. It'll be regular time, actually.
Regular time
next week. Regular couch. Thank you for checking out any of our E3 coverage. E3's over officially now. Bang, clap. It's over. See you later. Bye.